YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. In today's video, I have my breakout players for every single NFL team of the upcoming 2019 season. Actually, this is going to be two videos. This video today is all the offensive breakout players for each team, and then tomorrow's video, all the defensive breakout players for every single team. So we got a lot of breakout players for you guys these next 2 days. But right before we get started, 20K is our subscriber goal. Please help us out by clicking that button. If you already did, we really appreciate you. We're almost to our goal. If you don't subscribe, we got daily sports videos here. It'd be much appreciated if you can help us out. Clicking that like button, checking out our Twitter where we answer questions and have polls for you guys to vote on. Checking that out, we much appreciate as well. But we're going to go in alphabetical order, or what I think is alphabetical order. So we'll start with the Cardinals. Offensive players only for this video. And everyone's opinion's different on what a breakout player can be. You know, for the most part, it's younger guys that can finally break out, but I think it could be veterans too that's never really broken out or struggled the last few years and that could break out again. So different variety of type of players here. Cardinals, I went with Christian KIRK. Maybe an obvious choice. It's kind of a tough choice. You know, you could honestly go with David Johnson. Had injury year and then, off year last year, so he could really break out again. I just think Christian KIRK, he could be their number one receiver this year. Kind of tough, though, because they have a pretty deep receiver room now, though. But I think he can work well with Kyler Murray there in that Arizona offense. So I want Christian KIRK there. Again, I want to see your guys' opinions in the comments. If your favorite team's on here, or they will be, every team's on here, comment who you think the offensive breakout player is. Again, we'll do the defense a group tomorrow. To the Falcons. I chose Ito Smith. Why? Because Tevin Coleman's he's out of there. And you know how much they used him. Even if Freeman wasn't hurt, they still used Coleman. Freeman, has a higher chance, compared to an average player to get injured. So Ito Smith could be the starting back at one point this year. And he looked pretty impressive, especially in the red zone, which you didn't really expect. So only his second year, and he's got to fill a big role. And he already played pretty well last year. So I think we're going to remember the name Ito Smith a little more after this year because of the role change, step up for the Falcons. So that was my choice. To me, really the only choice. You could go with Calvin Ridley. I guess that could be a good choice too. I try to stay away from the obvious choice. That would be the obvious choice. I try to go a little more bold, but a lot of these teams, there's only one option. So Calvin Ridley could be an obvious choice, I suppose. To the Ravens, I went with the obvious choice here to Lamar Jackson. They got a pretty good receiver group now, or, because of the draft. I didn't want to put rookies in here. I decided to do no rookies and breakout. So I think their best receivers will be rookies. Running back, I don't really know, possibly Kenneth Dixon. I think Lamar Jackson's got to be that guy. He didn't even play the full season last year. He had his moments. Looked real good when they let him throw the ball downfield. So I think he really breaks out this year, proves a lot of haters wrong there. So obvious choice there, and Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. To the Bills, I went a little bold here. People expect Josh Allen. I went with Zay Jones, a guy I was high on at East Carolina a few years ago, and now another year with, their second-year quarterback now. I think he becomes the player that maybe they expected to be, that I expected to be too. And he's had his moments, and people maybe expect Foster to be this guy. I think Zay Jones really steps up this year. I got a feeling, So it could be Foster, could be, which he kind of broke out last year in his rookie year. Could be Josh Allen. I got some of the obvious choices. I went with Zay Jones here. Got a feeling. So Bills, offensive breakout player for the upcoming season. I went with Zay Jones. The Panthers, I went with Ian Thomas, the tight end. We know how important that tight end role is in Carolina's offense, and it's kind of been Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen's been dominant, then he kept getting hurt. They're kind of missing that guy. Ian Thomas, another year there. If Cam Newton's healthy, he's really going to be a very solid option there and kind of prove that he's the guy for the future. So I went Ian Thomas, a guy that I think really needs to break out. DJ Moore, possibly. I think that would have been a very obvious choice, so I try not to go with the obvious choices if there's another option there. Curtis Samuel could be one. He needs to be one. But will he be? He hasn't really quite figured it out. He's definitely a weapon, definitely can make an impact. I went with Ian Thomas here for the Panthers. To the Bears, people expect the quarterback, Trubisky, which he could step up this year, and I think he needs to. But I went with Anthony Miller, which Trubisky I'm kind of back and forth on. Is he really going to step up that much this year? It's a good question. Anthony Miller really impressed me last year. catch the ball, even if it was a good ball, bad ball, he catches the ball very well. Got some touchdowns too, and he's very good after the catch. I thought he was actually underrated for a rookie. Everyone kind of looked at Ridley and others, but I liked Anthony Miller a lot, and I think he can, step up and be even more of an impact this year. So I want Anthony Miller for the Bears. On to the next team, we got the Bengals, and for the Bengals, I went with John Ross. I had to do it. It's tough because they were trying to trade him. From what we heard, could be false. They tried to trade him, so it's kind of hard to pick him. They had Tyler Boyd was their breakout last year, very impressive. There's really no one else you can go with here. You can go with Joe Mixon. I think he's kind of broke out already. New offense, new coaching staff there, so I think John Ross could be used, correctly, and his speed, his talent could be utilized the right way, so he could stand out, be the breakout player. Not too many options here for the Bengals. One with John Ross. For the Browns, I went with David NJOKU, and you could argue that he kind of already broke out last year. I think he can break out even more. That, and I don't think there's really that many options. Chubb could have been an obvious one. There's a chance maybe he's not as good once Kareem Hunt comes back. He's definitely the better back. NJOKU, I think, having Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham outside could actually get him more reps, actually, because people are going to be focused on those receivers, tight end. NJOKU might get more action. So I think he really steps up big time this year. He kind of did towards the end of last year as well. So I went NJOKU, not too many options here. For the Browns, thought about Damian Ratley. That would be a deep one. I liked him a lot out of Texas A&M. He's pretty talented, but so many receivers in that group. That would have been the deep sleeper for the breakout candidates. For the Cowboys, I went Randall Cobb. Now here comes up a veteran. That was pretty solid, and then all of a sudden kind of disappeared a little bit, had some injuries, couldn't really get it going. I think he plays very well for the Cowboys this year, him and Dak Prescott. Some rollouts. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think he'll get his action there. The obvious choice could have been Michael Gallup. I went Cobb, a veteran, breaking out again, happening again after it's been a few years since he's played solid. So I went Cobb here over Gallup, which would have been the obvious choice. Randall Cobb from the Packers to the Cowboys, breakout player for the boys. The Broncos, obvious choice here, had to do it. Courtland Sutton was my number one receiver of the draft class last year. He's very talented, can do many different things, even though he's kind of a bigger size receiver, downfield guy. And I think he'll work well with Flacco. I think that's that type of receiver. He's that Elway type receiver too. That's why they brought him in here. I think they used him more. There was times where I'm kind of calling for them just to throw him the ball, throw it up to him in the red zone. And they could have done it more. They're going to do it more this year, I think. And I think he'll be their top receiver. I think he'll have an impressive year. So I went with him for the Broncos. The Lions, Kerryon Johnson I went with. He was pretty darn good when he was healthy last year. Really good, actually. What impressed me was what his weaknesses were as a prospect, speed. It looked like he gained speed in the open field. There was times where people couldn't even catch him. That was very impressive to me. You got to stay healthy. If he's healthy, he is a darn good back. Darn good. He can even make his way in the top 10 running backs in football if he stays healthy. So I think I'm going to say he stays healthy this year. I'm going to say he's dominant, what he was looking like when he was healthy last year. So Kerryon Johnson's a breakout. Kenny Golladay, people could consider. I thought he broke out last year. I thought last year was Kenny Galladay's year. I think he could step up even more this year, so I would understand if that's your pick. The Packers went with a bit of a wild card here. Went with Jamon Moore, rookie last year from Missouri. I liked him a lot, liked his tape a lot last year in the pre-draft process. And we saw even Drew Lock, the quarterback, came out this year. He was much better last year with Jamon Moore. Jamon Moore is very talented. I think he can do anything. He can run any route, catch the ball anywhere on the field, can fly. He kind of overshadowed by the two receivers taken later than him last year, but I think that can change this year with another year under his belt. I think he kind of going off the prospects evaluation. I think he's the better receiver than some of those other guys. Let's see if he steps up. A little bit of a bold prediction there. The Texans went with D'Onta Foreman, the former Texas running back, led the nation in rushing yards, and then he was looking real good his rookie year. Had a pretty bad injury at the end of that year, and then last year I think that kind of affected him too. So I think he gets back on the field, stays on the field, and Lamar Miller still can play, but you can see not much longer in Houston for him. Foreman could be that guy, and they will use him like he's the guy of the future. So I think he really steps up this year and is impressive. For the Colts, I went with Deon Cain here, the receiver. the former Clemson receiver, and they get a steal at him late in the draft, and then he was apparently looking really good in training camp, but then unfortunate injury. So I think he's back, and I know this guy has talent. Watching him at Clemson, I recognize the talent. He has it. He has speed. He can play outside, can run any route, can catch the ball anywhere on the field. He'll be good with Andrew Luck. I know they brought Paris Campbell in there. Breakout guy could be Hines because they use him in different ways. Very talented. They have a list of running backs, though. I want DEON CAIN as the breakout guy here. The Jags. I like this one a lot. This one's one of my favorite ones here. MARQISE Lee, receiver there on the Jaguars, but they have other receivers that were, I think, maybe more of the obvious choices, like DJ Chark's in his second year. D.D. Westbrook's still young. He can step up, and Nick Foles. But MARQISE Lee, to me, has always been an underrated receiver. I was very impressed with him, and people were kind of confused why they gave him that contract, but he needed to stay a little more consistent, but he was a big-time receiver, I thought, and I thought he had a lot of potential still, and then he got hurt last year. I think this year he's their number one receiver with Nick Foles. He's legit, I think. I like MARQISE Lee, and I think he's has a really good season for them this year. To the Chiefs, it's Sammy Watkins, and it has to be Sammy Watkins with the Tyreek Hill situation. We saw Sammy Watkins was disappointing last year, but in the playoffs, looking at the Colts game, looked really good. And I think we can see some more of that Sammy Watkins, depending on what Tyreek Hill's situation is. I know Mecole Hardman can maybe take that role, but Sammy Watkins has got to be that guy. He's got to finally break out and show us what he's supposed to be. Watching him at Clemson, ridiculous. I think we're going to see more of that this year. He's the breakout guy, and I think he needs to be. The Chargers went Hunter Henry. A pretty obvious choice here. I think the more obvious choice, and I think the wrong choice, would have been Mike Williams. Why the wrong choice? I think he plays very well this year. I think it's because I think he broke out last year, Mike Williams. I know Tyrell Williams is gone, but so that could help me even more. But he was pretty dominant towards the end of the year, and I expect him to be better. But I think that's too obvious, and I think he already broke out last year. Hunter Henry, he was a solid tight end before. He was hurt last year, and he was solid, but no, he could be better, and he could break out more, and I think he does that this year after sitting out the whole year last year. So I went Hunter Henry, and then the next team, the Rams. I'm going with Gerald Everett. I liked him a lot out of South Alabama. Very athletic tight end, could do multiple things, and it's been solid for them, but hasn't broke out yet. Hasn't been where I thought he would be in this offense, and I think this year could be the year. A deeper guy would be John Kelly, the former Tennessee running back, who I liked a lot, and they didn't use it all last year. We'll see if in his second year if they use him a little more. But I like Everett here for the really the only choice that I strongly considered, even though I do like Kelly. The Dolphins went with Kalen Ballage. He looked good in his moments last year. Didn't really have enough moments. He's got size, he's got speed. Rookie last year out of Arizona State, and no more Frank Gore, so he steps up. He's that second running back. We see teams using two running backs more now more than ever, really. And so Ballage, I think, gets more action, and he's very solid. He's kind of the total package, really. He eventually could be their guy, so I like him to step up. Other guy I thought about was actually Durham Smythe, rookie last year, tight end. I think he's a balanced tight end, can do a lot of everything. I think we'll see a little more of him this year. To the Vikings, went with Dalvin Cook. Now, you could say, people already know Dalvin Cook's good. Like, everybody knows he's good, but did he really break out yet? I don't think so, because he hasn't played a full season. Unfortunate, serious injury 2 years ago. Last year, nothing serious, and they played it safe, held him out until he was 110% because that offense line was bad, and we've seen him really for the first time fully healthy at the end of the year last year, couple games, and he was really good. So I think with this new coaching staff, new offense line, Dalvin Cook, if healthy, is easily one of the top, easily top 10, even higher than that, better backs in all of football. So not really a bold choice there, but it's an honest choice. He definitely needs to break out. Now we know what he's capable of, but he hasn't really broke out in a season yet. Yes, games here and there, but in a season. The Patriots went with Sony Michel, and it's another obvious choice. He was very dominant last year, but I think he breaks out even more. I think just like I talked about Dalvin Cook, I think Sony Michel is a top 10 running back in football. I'm very high on him, and I think he shows us. I think he can be a top 5 running back this year, really. He's a total package running back, very dominant, and I think he stays healthy the whole year and shows us how dominant he really is. Could be a number of receivers, again, not doing rookies. I think N'Keal Harry will step up, though. For the Saints, I went with Tre'Quan Smith. It's an obvious choice. There's really no other choice here. I don't think. Maybe you can go another. Cameron Meredith would be a deep one. He's had his injuries in the past, but Tre'Quan Smith looked real good in his moments last year. Now he's in his second year learning this NFL offense, learning from Drew Brees, Michael Thomas. He's the number 2 receiver. I think he steps up even more. I think it's a pretty obvious choice, really the only choice for me. The Giants, Evan Engram, another one that's pretty obvious. He was really good his rookie year, had some injuries last year too, but, we know he's solid. It's another guy that we know he can play. He doesn't need to break out to show us he can play, but he can break out. He can play better and be a top-tier tight end, and that's why he's on here. Saquon Barkley, not choosing him. He broke out in his rookie year, and we know he could be the best back in football already. Sterling Shepard, I guess, could be another option. I want Engram, though. The Jets, not too many options here. I went with Sam Darnold. I'm not super high on Darnold, but I do like his potential. I think he takes a step in that direction this year. Kind of needs to, and he'll definitely play. Last year, I think, and people were overhyping last year. Last year, I think, was pretty bad for him, which is okay because he's a rookie. Too many turnovers. So I think he has a big step up from last year. Not too many options here from the Jets. I guess Le'Veon Bell, could he be one because didn't even play last year? I wouldn't really consider it, but we went Darnold. The Raiders, Colton Miller. This is the only offensive lineman on the list. There's really no other options to go with the Raiders, but I think Colton Miller has to step up, and I think he does. I didn't like the pick at all. I didn't like his play at all, but I think, him being a raw offensive lineman, the more athletic guy that needs some time to develop, it's okay that he struggled last year. So I think with another year in the development program in Oakland, I think he really steps up and is an impact for them, even though he's an offensive lineman. Looking at, I wasn't choosing rookies. I think Josh Jacobs is their main running back. Antonio Brown, Tyrell Williams, all those guys already really broke out. So could be a tight end, possibly one of those tight ends they got. I went with Colton Miller. The Eagles, I went with Dallas Goedert, second-year tight end. I think the only option here. They got a long list of running backs, but I don't think any of them are breakout candidates. They can play good, but I don't know if I would consider them breakouts. Receivers, again, same situation. I don't know if any of those guys are breakouts. Maybe Mac Hollins possibly, but they even drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, so I don't know if they'll use those depth guys that much. I think it's Goddard. I think they'll involve him in the offense a little more because he's a freak tight end. Steelers, this might be the favorite one on this video, is James Washington. No Antonio Brown. One, and James Washington I was super high on last year at Oklahoma State, and he fits this offense so perfectly. This guy is going to break out. This might be my number 1 guy on this list here because he's a do-it-all receiver too. He's got speed, he's got hands, catch the ball anywhere on the field, can run routes. He's going to be really good in this offense. He's going to be the number 2 receiver still, second best receiver, but he's going to break out for sure. I think an easy choice here is one of the top breakout guys of this year. Seattle, I chose Rashad Penny. There's not too many options here, but he was a first-round running back in their eyes for a reason. And it's not like he wasn't good. He wasn't not a bust or anything. It's Chris Carson was just really good last year, but they'll use Penny more because he was a first-round guy and they think highly of him, but not more than Carson. But they'll make sure they use him a lot. Mike Davis is gone too, but Penny will get his moments and he can play. His small amount of opportunities last year, he was good. So he's definitely a good running back. And they could possibly use him in the return game, too. I know they got Lockett, but he'll step up this year and kind of be their breakout guy. For the Niners, I went with JERRICK McKinnon. This could be Dante Pettis. He had his moments, too. Real good moments with Dante Pettis. I went with JERRICK McKinnon, though. I was really excited to watch him in Kyle Shanahan's offense last year in this offense. And they paid him a lot because he fits and because he's such a weapon. And now he's healthy. Now he's going to be back, and I think he's going to be real good. I was expecting him to be a real good running back last year. Unfortunately, he couldn't play. I think he could be the best receiving back in football, the pure receiving back. Well, he can run the ball too, and I think he might be the fastest in terms of speed. He has the quickness too, but in terms of long speed, I think he might be the fastest running back in football too, if the injury didn't affect him. So I think he breaks out. I know they have a long list of running backs, including Tevin Coleman. But McKinnon in this offense is a weapon. Dante Pettis, again, was a strong candidate for this as well. The Buccaneers, Ronald Jones, obvious choice, and I'm definitely going with Ronald Jones. I liked him from USC. I thought he would be very good last year. Couldn't learn the playbook apparently, so didn't get too much opportunity. Whole new playbook, new offense. Get him in there. They didn't draft the running back, so I think they believe in Ronald Jones. He's got speed. He's got vision. He can break tackles. I think he'll be one of the best candidates here for the breakout players of the year. for the Buccaneers there for the whole NFL. 2 teams left. We got the Titans. I went with Corey Davis, the receiver there, who stepped up a little bit last year. It's all about staying consistent. But he had his moments where it was like, this guy's legit. That's why they took him that early. But then he kind of disappears. I know they had the quarterback injury. The quarterback injury could happen again, but they got a good backup this year. And you could say, well, they added A.J. Brown. They added Adam Humphries. Yeah, I like those guys. And they could take some targets away. But at the same time, this receiver unit maybe was the worst in football before, one of the worst. Pretty much only Corey Davis, so everyone's focusing on Corey Davis. Number 1 corners on Corey Davis. Teams might be scared of the other guys, which could result in Corey Davis getting more action and in just another year. We've seen him step up big time last year. Like I said, he had his big time moments. Maybe he makes that more consistent this year. I'm looking forward to looking at much improved receiver unit for the Tennessee Titans. And then the Redskins, I went DERRIUS GUICE. I know an obvious choice, and he hasn't even played yet. He was hurt, so he's almost like a rookie. So, but I went with him because I think if he's okay, if the injury didn't affect him, if he's healthy, he's going to be a dominant running back in this league. I really think so. He's a total package guy. I know they have other running backs. I think their receivers that step up are rookies, so I didn't want to go with those guys. So DERRIUS GUICE was really their only option there. I really like their defense video tomorrow. I know I'm hyping it up already, but I really like the Redskins defense breakout guys. That applies to a few teams. There's a million of them for the defensive side. But DERRIUS GUICE I like a lot. Liked his game out of LSU. Was really high on him. So can't wait to watch him. Hopefully he stays healthy. Learning from Adrian Peterson in there. That's going to be great. So let me know your guys' thoughts. If one of your favorite teams you didn't agree with, let me know who you think the breakout player. Obviously, it's opinion. There's multiple different options like I named. I'm sure I forgot to name somebody. There's so many different players that can break out. So let's talk in the comments. Always can talk on Twitter as well. We answer questions, have polls on there. And then we have plenty of NFL videos already on the channel. Prediction videos like this and more to come. Also covering the NBA draft. So, yeah, thanks everyone for their support. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. Goodbye.